Hi Day Traders FX members, it's Jared Johnson here. Just wanted to do kind of a midday update. It's been kind of a wild several hours. Markets have been all over the place, and we had some news. Trump spoke, Fed Chairman Powell spoke, and we just saw a lot of crazy things happen. We've heard about tariffs and embargoes happening, and of course markets are going nuts for all of that. It's just been a heavy news day and a pretty interesting moving day. So I just wanted to kind of touch base with all members and see how everybody did today. I hope you guys were able to make some money. This was what I posted this morning, just about an hour or so into the U.S. session. Most of the movement started happening later into the U.S. session and after the U.S. close, almost even. Not after the U.S. close, but very late in the session, much later than we see, typical movement. And again, it was pretty news based. But let's just kind of run through what we posted here. So this was a trade. This is EURCAD. This was a trade that we had posted from the night before. So there was some profit there. There was a bit of a run there, and it ended up giving us a kind of a crazy reversal. So there was enough room to probably lock in some profit. Entries 156, 50-ish area. Had a low 156.22. There was definitely 15, 20 pips in there, worst case scenario. Hopefully you guys were able to lock in a little bit of money there, but that went up and went crazy and went nuts. The euro really got strong there. So if you locked in on that, if you got in on that, locked in on that, you were fine. If you got a late entry on that, you could have been stopped out. Anything could happen there. We still have some great targets to aim for on the low end, lower movement, but very, very, very strong movement there. So EURCAD was either best case scenario, EURCAD was a small profit or a break even. Worst case scenario, took a loss on EURCAD. So that's we could say break even to possible loss. So that's EURCAD. Okay, let's talk about dollar yen. So dollar yen was another one discussed this morning. I talked about looking for dollar yen to kind of break through, make a nice little move, consolidate however long it was going to consolidate. We wanted to see it pull back, hit this level, which it did, see a little more consolidation and a breakout. So what did dollar yen do? Dollar yen, this is all from this morning, by the way. This is from several hours ago. Dollar yen did this. So what chart did I show here? Is that a 15? That was a 60-minute chart. Okay, so dollar yen consolidated a little bit more, broke out, made a nice little breakout here around 106.60, 65 area, sitting down here around 106.70. So hopefully if you got in on that breakout area there, and I was kind of watching this from the 15-minute chart as well, breakout area, kind of around this 106.65, move down into at least 106.20, 25 areas. So dollar yen, we could say 40 plus pips. We'll call dollar yen 40 plus pips. Okay, so that made a nice little break for us. Looking for that. We got that. And away we went. So nice little move there on dollar yen. It's working its way down, and remember, we're looking for big lower targets on dollar yen, like a long-term move down on dollar yen. So pretty good little run there. Okay, on to the next. Pound CAD. Pound CAD. What did our pound CAD do? Pound CAD went a little bit bananas with some of the other CAD pairs. We were looking for a breakout and a run down into the monthly pivot. It broke, it pulled back, it's back, it got really choppy and messy, so chances are if you tried to trade the pound CAD, that was either a loss or, it didn't make, a super massive movement in the wrong direction here, but it did run up just a little bit. So here's kind of our zone we're watching, 176.50. We saw it run all the way up to around 177, 50 pips back, but it did, on its breakout here, run about 40 or so pips down. So Enough if you got in on a breakout down, there was enough room to kind of go for it there. You can see there was, some consolidation and so on. So we had a run from at least 176.45 or so down to about 176.20. So hard to say. I'd be interested to hear how everybody did on pound CAD. If you traded it, it could, it should be at least a break even. There was about 20 or 30 pips to lock in there, but it could have been a loss depending on how you traded it. So we're going to say break even to loss depending on if you were able to, depending on if you got stopped out or however that went, but it should have been a pretty easy break even. New Zealand yen. This was New Zealand yen. So here's our New Zealand yen. We talked a little bit about, let's pull up that chart. New Zealand yen was this. Looking for this thing to consolidate, make its breakout to the upside, or excuse me, to the downside here. So what did New Zealand yen do? I think I showed the 60-minute chart. New Zealand yen made a nice clean breakout, ran down, pulled back. Probably it's sitting in a small profit, and I still like this trade. I think there's, good possibility of this thing, continuing lower and running into some of those lower targets. So New Zealand yen in a worst case scenario sitting in a small profit. So we'll call this one small profit currently and on its way. We talked about Aussie New Zealand. Aussie New Zealand, I suggested, as we've talked about over the last several days, Aussie New Zealand was a lock-in profit along the way, made a nice big run up. Great opportunities to plenty of time to move stops into profit. So I'm going to call Aussie New Zealand, depending on where entries are and so on, a break even or small profit wherever you locked in. And I'm still looking for another opportunity to buy some breaks on Aussie New Zealand, like this right here. So Aussie New Zealand is kind of still waiting on confirmation, I guess we could probably call it. So if we put it over here and we say, whoops, let's put it right here. Still waiting on confirmation. So there's Aussie New Zealand. All right, so far so good. CAD yen, 450 bars on the hourly chart, pretty oversold, but we need clean breakouts and confirmation, and we want to lock in profit quickly. Those are my notes that I included with the CAD yen. So CAD yen gave us a little bit of a break. Let's see, what chart did I post here? Might have posted a 15-minute, maybe? I don't know. 60-minute chart. Okay, so CAD yen was kind of making a break here at the time of that. That was our little breakout. Kind of ran up a couple of pips. Still hasn't hit our 200 EMA. And I didn't get into this one, definitely. And it's, it's still just, we still don't have the best confirmation here. So we're looking for, waiting on confirmation, waiting to get to this bar count. Remember, we have this little area here, 458 bars. I still want to see that thing kind of pop up there. We did get a little bit of a spike. It did make a little bit of a break and ran from 83.30 up into about 83.65. So if you got in on that break, I mean, there was 30 pips there. So if you got that, that should have been an easy 30 pips. But we'll call this one break even to small profit. There's something to get on that one. And nobody should have lost any money on that. It wasn't even really good confirmation in the first place, but it did run 30 pips once it did break. So anyway, that's our CAD yen. So that's kind of how that one went. Let's look at euro dollar. Euro dollar. Here's my euro dollar look right here. 1 hour chart, consolidation, looking for a breakout and a move up. What do we get on euro dollar? That's always the question. Consolidation, we got a breakout, small pullback, and a run up. Let's just say you got in somewhere in this area here around 12200. Sitting 12200 is a little bit generous, by the way. It could have had entries as good as 121, 90, 95. Let's just say we'll call it 122.10. We'll call it 122.10. So let's say you got a 122.10, you should be up at least 50 to 55 pips right now. So euro dollar, working great. Plus 50 pips currently. So nice little move on euro dollar. Definitely a good little run on that one. So that did exactly what we were expecting, and so far so good. Euro yen. Euro yen. Here's the entry chart I was looking at on euro yen, and it's this guy right here. So euro yen, I was watching this little 15-minute chart, looking for a bit of a breakout, and let's see what it gave us. Whoops. Go to that chart there. So it gave us a little bit of a breakout. And, plenty of movement there. Got a little bit of a break. if you got in on the next candle right here, let's say you got in at the lowest case scenario here, 130.05, it ran down to 129.77. There was 30 plus pips there, easy to grab, but at least a very easy break-even lock-in profit. It pulled back, retested, got choppy, but it ran about 30 pips from a bad entry. If you got a good entry, then it ran about 50 pips. So we'll call Euro Yen. This is a break even to small profit. So there you go. Euro Yen worked out pretty well. How about New Zealand dollar? Here's my New Zealand dollar chart. New Zealand dollar running up, 15-minute chart. I was looking for this breakout on the 15-minute chart. New Zealand dollar. What did our New Zealand dollar do? So nothing. It retested, and still waiting on that break. So New Zealand dollar is still a good one. I like this move. I like this kind of setup right here. So let's just keep an eye on it. Let's be ready to watch this thing continue breaking and continue moving. But New Zealand dollar looks awesome. No confirmation, waiting on confirmation, and looking for that breakout. So New Zealand dollar, waiting on confirmation. Boom. How about dollar CAD? Last but not least, the dollar CAD. So we talked about this little channel here, looking for a move into the lower part of the channel on dollar CAD. How did this guy go? Well, let's go to the hourly chart here. Have a little look at that. Only starting to break out right now. Only starting to break out just barely. So dollar CAD is struggling. It wants to make a move, but still having a little bit of trouble. So this one, if you're not in, I mean, it's barely at the earliest stages of confirmation. It's not my favorite setup, but I think it could play out still. So here's what I would say on dollar CAD. Mark those lows. Mark those lows, about 128.12, 13, somewhere in there. Mark those lows, and if this makes a break, then we're trading this thing down. So this is the area to watch right here. That's where I would look for the break on dollar CAD. So it's doing a pretty good job staying in that channel here. So we're just looking for that break and a run from about 128.10 down into about 127.40.50 is what I'd be looking for on dollar CAD. So whatever you think of that, let's see how that plays out. I think there's some potential there, and that one could still be coming up. So up and coming. So this one we'll call just barely, well, just about to confirm. So that's a little bit of an update on everything that's happened this morning. So hopefully you guys are able to make some money on that. Just wanted to kind of update you quickly on how I saw things. It was a pretty good day so far. That is, 40 pips, some break evens, possibly small losses, small profits, 40, 50, 60 pips, 80 pips, 100 pips. There's a lot of profits in here today. So hopefully you guys had a good day, made some money, and did well. Thanks everybody. Hopefully that was useful. Thanks for watching. Take care.